Welcome to our deep dive, everybody. Today we're tackling the untethered soul. We're going to explore the nature of self and how to find some inner freedom along the way, right? Our guide for this journey is Michael A. Singer's book. And let me tell you, it is jam-packed with wisdom. Even folks like Deepak Chopra and Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shalomi have sung its praises.
Yeah, it's not your average self-help book.
No, not at all.
Singer really jumps right in, right into this idea of that voice we all have in our heads.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like an inner roommate.
Inner roommate. I like that.
It's constantly narrating our lives, even simple stuff, like taking a shower. He uses that example, right?
Yeah. It's amazing, right, how much chatter is going on up there.
All the time.
Constantly. So, Singer, he wants us to really see this voice not as us but as separate, almost like we're in a hypnotic trance.
Yeah, it is kind of like that.
He keeps emphasizing how crucial it is to become the observer, the seer inside, right?
Right. And that seer, that's our consciousness. It's aware of everything, our thoughts, our feelings, the whole shebang. Imagine you look around a room, right? And you just instantly grasp every detail without a single thought.
Wow.
That's consciousness just directly experiencing reality.
Yeah, that is wild when you really think about it. It is a lot.
Yeah.
So we've got this incredible awareness, but Singer's saying we often get so caught up in the objects, right? The objects of our consciousness,
Yeah.
all those thoughts, those feelings, the distractions, all that external stuff that we completely forget about the seer itself. He calls this object consciousness,
Right.
which can really leave us feeling lost.
Lost and limited.
And limited, yeah.
Yeah, he uses this clever analogy, right? It's like we're glued to our own personal TV shows, just bombarded by thoughts and feelings, all these things happening. And we completely forget we're the ones holding the remote.
Yeah.
We have the power to change the channel.
That's such a good analogy. Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in it all. And then Singer, he kind of playfully guides us, right, through all these self-identity questions. He asks, are you your name?
Right. Are you your job? Your life story?
Right, exactly. All these labels. And as you try to define yourself, you realize it all falls short. Right?
Totally. Labels just can't fully capture who you really are.
No. And that's where this whole concept of the seer becomes so important, because Singer's saying our true self, it's his ever-present awareness. It's not these fleeting mental, emotional states.
Right. It's recognizing that, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, and realizing that can be so liberating. It can free us from their control.
It's a powerful shift in perspective for sure. Yeah. It reminds me of his example of that sudden surge of energy you get after a positive phone call. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's instant, right?
Yeah.
Boom, energy just floods in. And he uses this to illustrate this whole concept of inner energy and how our mental states and emotional states, they directly affect our energy levels.
Yeah, he talks about these inner energy centers, right?
Yeah.
And how open or closed we are to life's experiences, that actually affects these centers. When we're open, receptive, energy just flows freely.
Right.
But when we shut down, out of fear or anger or whatever, we constrict that flow.
It's like we have this wellspring of energy inside, but we block it.
We block it with our own resistance.
With our own resistance, exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to this idea of samskaras.
Samskaras, yeah.
Which they're like these stored energy patterns from past experiences.
Right.
That can create blockages.
They're like energetic imprints almost, like from past hurts or even positive events that we cling to.
Yeah.
And they can be triggered, by situations in the present, bringing back a flood of emotions or even physical sensations. For example, jealousy in a relationship that might stem from something that happened in the past.
Yeah.
And then it gets triggered by a similar event, and all of a sudden, all those feelings come rushing back.
Yeah, it's like we're carrying around all this unresolved energy.
We are.
That's affecting our present. And Singer, he even suggests these samskaras can impact our physical health.
Oh, absolutely. They create blockages that can manifest as illness or pain.
Wow.
It really highlights how interconnected everything is,
Yeah.
The mind, the emotions, the physical body, it's all linked.
It's all connected. Singer uses this analogy of a thorn in the arm.
Okay. Yeah.
We can either protect the thorn or we can take it out. And he applies that to emotional pain. saying that building fortresses around ourselves, to avoid these triggers, that only tracks us, traps us in this cycle of suffering.
Yeah.
So we have to confront it, not avoid it.
Exactly. He's urging us to become aware of when we close down. Notice those energy shifts and consciously choose to stay open, even if it's uncomfortable.
It's not about denying or suppressing. Right? It's about letting them pass through, which leads us to this fascinating analogy of the house of thoughts.
Ah, the house of thoughts.
It's powerful. He describes a house sealed off from natural light to represent how we limit ourselves with our thoughts and emotions. So it's like we're building these walls, clinging to these beliefs, past experiences, and we forget there's a whole world of light outside.
It's like we're so focused on maintaining those walls, defending our self-concepts, that we forget there's so much more beyond them.
It is scary, though. Like stepping out can be terrifying, right?
Yeah. It is. It's like venturing into the unknown, going beyond our comfort zones.
And he addresses that fear, comparing it to a tiger pacing its cage. We become so attached to our own limitations, afraid to venture beyond those bars.
Even though freedom is right there waiting for us.
It's waiting. So it's about recognizing the cages, right, that we've built for ourselves, and finding the courage to move beyond them.
Exactly. True spiritual growth, it lies in continuously pushing those boundaries and expanding our comfort zones to encompass more of life's experiences.
It's a journey of letting go of these false notions of solidity and embracing the boundlessness of our true selves. That's a lot to unpack. It's profound.
It is. It's about freedom. It's about joy.
Freedom and joy. Yeah. I'm curious. What does Singer say about finding that joy?
Well, that leads us to a really crucial point in the book. This idea of the path of unconditional happiness.
Unconditional happiness.
He poses this simple question, but it's really profound. Do you want to be happy?
Well, yeah.
It's not about fleeting happiness that depends on external things. He's advocating for choosing happiness as our unwavering state of being.
Yeah, that's a big shift from how most of us think about happiness, We're always chasing things.
We are. We say, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or, I'll be happy when I find my soulmate.
When I win the lottery.
Exactly. But all those conditions, they leave us at the mercy of things we can't control.
Yeah.
Singer's arguing that true happiness, it lies in shifting our internal state, choosing happiness in each moment, regardless of what's happening around us. He even calls it the highest spiritual path.
That's a bold statement.
It is.
But I mean, I can see how aligning ourselves with that unwavering joy, it could be transformative.
It is. It's like choosing to see the world through a lens of positivity, even when things are tough. And he's not saying, deny the difficult emotions or suppress them.
Right.
It's about acknowledging them, letting them pass through, but not letting them dictate our state of being. It's about cultivating this inner resilience that allows us to navigate the challenges.
Without losing sight of that joy.
Exactly.
So it's detaching from the thoughts and emotions, right? Not letting them drag us down.
Exactly. It's like watching a movie, you get caught up in the drama, but then you remember, oh, wait a minute, I'm just the observer. I can experience these emotions without letting them define my reality.
That's a helpful way to think about it, creating space between ourselves and those thoughts and emotions so we can observe them without getting lost. And that ability to detach and observe without judgment, that's key to embracing this idea of non-resistance.
Non-resistance,
which is another essential element on this path to freedom.
Absolutely.
Speaking of non-resistance, Singer uses these really relatable examples, like getting cut off in traffic.
Yeah, dealing with a frustrating coworker. All those situations that usually trigger, anger, frustration.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of reacting with resistance, getting angry, arguing, he suggests this radical alternative.
What's that?
Letting go.
Just letting go.
Letting go.
Easier said than done, right?
Oh, absolutely. But I get what he's saying. He's clarifying that non-resistance, it's not passivity.
Right.
It's choosing not to to engage with energy that throws us off balance. Because resisting what's already happened, it just creates more suffering.
So non-resistance is about acceptance.
It is.
Acknowledging what is without fighting it.
It's about choosing peace over conflict.
Uh-huh.
Recognizing that our energy is best used, creating the life we want, not battling things we can't control. And this idea of energy conservation, it ties into his discussion of the Tao.
The Tao.
Okay.
The middle way, where energy flows effortlessly.
Oh, yes. The Tao, that state of balance.
Balance and harmony. Harmony. Where life just, it unfolds with ease.
Effortlessly. And he uses this analogy of a pendulum swinging between extremes, right, to illustrate this point.
Okay.
And it takes a lot of energy to keep that pendulum swinging, constantly pushing against opposing forces.
It can be exhausting.
It can be exhausting. But when we find that center point, that equilibrium, everything becomes much smoother. We stop fighting the current.
And start flowing with it.
Exactly.
He applies this to everyday activities, like eating, working,
Right.
the extremes in those areas, like overeating, undereating, working obsessively.
Yeah, it drains our energy. It creates imbalance.
So the Tao is about finding that sweet spot in every aspect of life.
It is. It's about finding that place where effortlessness and harmony reign. And it's not about being passive, It's about being present, aware, responsive.
Like a skilled sailor,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Navigating the winds and currents. And the Tao isn't a fixed destination. It's a dynamic state of being, a constant dance between effort and surrender. And that dance, it leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe.
A journey of self-discovery.
Absolutely.
I'm fascinated by this journey. What stands out to you about it?
Well, it leads us to the final and perhaps most profound theme in the Untethered Soul, and that's the nature of God.
God.
Singer, he moves beyond, the personal and invites us to explore the spiritual dimension. He acknowledges, all the countless interpretations of God, influenced by culture, religion, all those things.
Right. He's not pushing any particular belief system.
Right. He's suggesting a more experiential approach to understanding the divine.
Okay. I like that.
He encourages us to look inward and observe the transformations that occur. When we let go of these limiting beliefs and behaviors, he argues that the qualities of our transformed selves, things like increased love, compassion, non-judgment, they offer us a direct experience of God's nature.
It's like reflecting back the very qualities we seek, right?
Exactly. He uses this beautiful analogy. He asks us to imagine walking through a botanical garden filled with flowers of all kinds.
Okay. Yeah.
Each flower is unique, yet perfect in its own way.
Right.
And instead of judging or comparing, we appreciate their diversity, their inherent beauty.
Right.
And he suggests this is how God sees creation.
With unconditional love.
Unconditional love and acceptance.
Acceptance.
Recognizing perfection in everything, even what we might deem flawed.
It's a powerful reminder that judgment and differentiation, these are human constructs.
They are.
They're not inherent to the divine.
And that realization, it can profoundly impact how we see ourselves in the world. It invites us to let go of those harsh self-judgments.
Embrace a more compassionate, accepting perspective.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing the divine spark
Right.
within ourselves and every being we encounter.
And this recognition, this shift in perspective, it ultimately leads to a state of interconnectedness, a sense of unity with all creation. It's the ultimate homecoming.
Wow.
Returning to that state of wholeness and oneness that's always been within us.
It's a journey that's available to all of us, right?
Yeah.
Right here, right now. Not about seeking something outside, but recognizing that presence already within us.
It is. It's a powerful message of hope and possibility.
It is. This journey to inner freedom, it's not only attainable, but it's filled with beauty, with joy, and a deepening connection to the divine. This has been incredibly insightful so far. What's next? Where do we go from here?
Well, now that we've laid the groundwork, we can delve a little deeper into some specific strategies Singer offers for cultivating this untethered state of being.
That sounds like a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive.
It is.
I'm ready to unpack more of his wisdom.
Let's do it. So Singer, he offers a wealth of practical advice in this book.
Yeah.
And one of the most impactful strategies he talks about is this practice of of letting go.
Letting go.
Letting go. He emphasizes that, a lot of our suffering, it comes from clinging to things we can't control. Thoughts, emotions, external circumstances, all of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like we're constantly trying to hold on to this illusion of solidity, right?
Right.
Like we can actually dictate how life unfolds.
Exactly, and that creates so much tension, so much resistance.
It does.
And Singer suggests that true freedom, it lies in surrendering to the flow of life, accepting what is without trying to force it into some particular shape.
So how do we actually practice letting go? I mean, it sounds simple, right? But it feels like it could be incredibly challenging to actually do.
Yeah, it's not always easy. But Singer, he offers a variety of techniques. One is simply becoming aware of our attachments.
Okay.
He encourages us to observe our thoughts and just notice where we're clinging to ideas, to beliefs, to possessions, even relationships.
Yeah, I can see how just bringing awareness to those attachments could start to loosen their grip a little.
Absolutely. Awareness is the first step. And once we see those attachments clearly, we can start to question them.
Yeah.
Are they truly serving us? Are they bringing us joy, or are they causing us suffering?
It's about becoming more conscious of our choices,
Right.
recognizing that we actually have the power to choose what we hold on to and what we release.
Exactly. Another technique Singer recommends is practicing detachment. He uses this analogy of a flowing river. Imagine you're standing in the river and you're trying to hold on to a particular piece of water. It's impossible, right? The
Right.
water keeps flowing. And the more you try to grasp it, the more frustrated you become.
Yeah, it's a really powerful image. It shows how pointless it is to try to control something that's just inherently fluid and ever changing.
And yet that's what we often do with our thoughts and emotions. We try to hold on to the pleasant experiences and push away the unpleasant ones.
We do.
Singer suggests a more skillful approach is to just allow those experiences to flow through us, just like the water in the river.
To flow through. This idea of allowing experiences to flow through us, it reminds me of Singer's discussion of the heart center
Okay.
and its role in our spiritual development.
Yes. Singer, he places a lot of emphasis on the heart.
He does.
He describes it as the center of love, compassion, connection. And he argues that opening our hearts, this is essential to experiencing true freedom and joy.
He talks about how we often we build walls around our hearts, right? To protect ourselves from pain, but in doing so we also block ourselves from experiencing love and joy.
Exactly. It's like building a fortress around our hearts, thinking it'll keep us safe. But ultimately it isolates us. It prevents us from connecting with others and experiencing the fullness of life.
So how do we go about opening our hearts? Especially if we've been hurt in the past and we're afraid of getting hurt again.
Well, Singer, he acknowledges that opening our hearts, it can feel vulnerable.
It does.
But he assures us it's a risk worth taking. And he offers a number of practices to cultivate heart-centered awareness. One is simply bringing our attention to the heart area, just feeling the physical sensations there.
Okay. It sounds like a simple practice.
Yeah.
But I can see how it could be really powerful. You know, shifting our focus from the mental chatter to a more embodied experience of ourselves.
Another practice he suggests is sending loving kindness to ourselves and to others.
Okay.
This can be as simple as silently repeating phrases like, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be peaceful.
It's like intentionally cultivating feelings of love and compassion.
Exactly. Both for ourselves and for those around us. And as we do this, we begin to soften those defenses around our hearts, allowing more love and joy to flow into our lives.
It's a beautiful practice. It reminds me of the Buddhist concept of meditation,
Right.
which focuses on cultivating loving kindness and compassion.
There are definitely parallels there. Singer, he draws on a variety of spiritual traditions, including Buddhism, Hinduism, Sufism, to offer a really comprehensive approach to spiritual growth.
And he weaves these teachings together so seamlessly, making them accessible to anyone, regardless of their background or beliefs.
That's one of the things I appreciate most about his work. He speaks to the human experience in a way that transcends dogma, and it resonates with people from all walks of life.
Yeah, it's clear that his teachings are rooted in deep wisdom and compassion. It makes me curious to learn more about his personal journey. how he arrived at these insights.
Well, he actually shares quite a bit about his own spiritual journey in the Untethered Soul. He talks about his experiences as a young man, seeking spiritual enlightenment, and spending years living as a recluse in the woods, immersed in meditation and contemplation.
Wow, that's a pretty radical path. It makes me wonder what prompted him to eventually return to society and share his teachings with the world.
He explains that he felt this deep calling to help others find the same peace and freedom that he had discovered. He recognized that the insights he'd gained, they weren't meant to be kept hidden away. They were meant to be shared.
It's inspiring to hear about his commitment to service. It reminds me of the Buddhist saying, "Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared."
That's a beautiful sentiment. And it speaks to the ripple effect that occurs when we share our wisdom and compassion with others. We not only benefit ourselves, but we also contribute to creating a more loving and peaceful world.
It makes me think about the impact Singer's book has had on so many people's lives. It's clearly touched a nerve and sparked a longing for deeper meaning and connection.
It's a testament to the power of his teachings. He offers a clear and practical path to inner freedom, one that's grounded in both ancient wisdom and contemporary psychology.
And he presents these teachings in a way that's both engaging and relatable. He uses humor, anecdotes, everyday examples to illustrate complex concepts and make them accessible to a wide audience.
And he avoids getting bogged down in jargon or esoteric language. He speaks in plain English, directly to the reader, inviting them to embark on this journey of self-discovery.
It's a journey that can lead to profound transformation as we learn to let go of our attachments, to open our hearts, to embrace the present moment. We discover a sense of peace and freedom that's independent of external circumstances.
And that's the essence of the untethered soul, a soul that's free from the limitations of fear, doubt, self-judgment, a soul that's connected to a source of love and joy that's limitless and eternal.
It's a beautiful vision and one that's within reach for all of us. Singer reminds us that we all have the capacity to awaken to our true nature, to experience the fullness of who we are, and to live a life that's aligned with our deepest purpose.
And he provides us with the tools and the guidance we need to embark on this journey. It's up to us to take that first step, to commit to the practice, and to trust in the transformative power of letting go.
It's a journey worth taking. And as we continue our deep dive into the untethered soul, we'll explore more of the practical strategies Singer offers for cultivating inner peace, freedom, and joy.
I'm eager to delve deeper into those strategies with you.
Me too. I'm ready for the next part of our exploration. Okay, so as we continue exploring the untethered soul, I'm really curious about the practical side of things.
Yeah.
Like Singer talks about all this releasing attachments, opening our hearts, but are there like specific exercises or techniques that can actually help us in this process?
Oh, absolutely. Singer, he provides a whole range of practices to help facilitate this inner transformation. And one he really emphasizes is cultivating present moment awareness. He suggests that, so often we get lost in thoughts about the past, worries about the future, and we end up missing out on the richness of the present moment.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so easy to get caught up in that mental time travel, right?
It is.
And I can see how that would really take us away from experiencing life fully.
Exactly. And so Singer, he encourages us to kind of anchor ourselves in the present.
Yeah.
By paying attention to our senses, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the tastes, the physical sensations of the present moment. This helps to ground us, and it brings us back to the immediacy of experience.
It's like hitting the pause button on all
Yeah.
that mental chatter
Yeah.
and just tuning in to the richness of what's happening right now.
Exactly. And he also recommends practicing mindfulness in everyday activities. For example, instead of just rushing through a meal, we can savor each bite. Noticing the flavors, the textures, or while we're walking, we can pay attention to the sensations of our feet on the ground, the movement of our body.
These seem like such simple yet powerful ways to kind of shift our focus and cultivate a greater sense of presence.
Yeah.
It's about bringing intentionality to even the most mundane tasks.
Precisely. And as we become more present, we naturally start to release those anxieties about the past and future. And we begin to experience a sense of ease and spaciousness within ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. This ties into Singer's discussion of releasing mental and emotional energy, doesn't it?
It does.
He talks about how we often we expend so much energy resisting what is, or trying to force things to be different.
Yes, he uses this great analogy of a hand gripping a rope tightly. And the more we grip, the more tension we create. And he suggests that instead of gripping, we practice releasing,
Yeah.
allowing the rope to just flow through our hand without resistance.
It's a powerful metaphor for learning to let go of that need to control. But how do we actually apply that to our daily lives, where we inevitably encounter challenges, frustrations?
Well, Singer, he encourages us to notice our reactions when those challenges arise. Are we tightening our grip? Are we resisting what is?
Yep.
Or are we willing to loosen our hold, to allow things to unfold without our interference?
It sounds like it takes a great deal of self-awareness,
Yeah.
and a willingness to challenge our habitual patterns of reacting.
It does. It requires commitment. It
Mm.
requires practice. But as we cultivate this awareness, we start to recognize that so much of our suffering is self-created.
Yeah.
We're the ones holding on to the rope, creating the tension.
So it's about recognizing that we have a choice in how we respond.
Yeah.
We can choose to resist and suffer, or we can choose to release and allow.
Exactly. And it's not about becoming passive or indifferent. It's about responding to life's challenges with wisdom and compassion rather than reacting out of fear and resistance.
It reminds me of Singer's discussion of the difference between pain and suffering.
Right.
He points out that pain is inevitable in life, but suffering is optional.
That's a key distinction. Pain is a natural response to challenging experiences. It's part of being human. But suffering, that arises when we resist that pain, when we add layers of mental and emotional anguish to it.
So it's about learning to accept pain as a part of life,
Mhm.
without amplifying it with our resistance.
Precisely. And as we practice acceptance, we discover this resilience within ourselves that we may not have known we had. We realize that we can handle whatever life throws our way without falling apart.
This all sounds very empowering. Singer seems to be suggesting that we have far more control over our experience of life
Yeah.
than we might realize.
He is. And that's ultimately the message of the Untethered Soul. It's about empowering us to take ownership of our inner world, to cultivate peace and freedom within ourselves, regardless of external circumstances.
It's about recognizing that true happiness and fulfillment, they don't come from chasing external things, but from cultivating a deep sense of inner peace and connection to something greater than ourselves.
Yes, and Singer, he reminds us that this connection to the divine,
Yeah.
to that boundless source of love and wisdom, it's available to all of us. It's not something we need to seek outside ourselves. It's already within us, waiting to be awakened.
And he encourages us to tap into that inner wisdom through practices like meditation, contemplation,
Yeah.
simply spending time in nature.
He emphasizes that spiritual growth is an ongoing journey, a process of continual unfolding. It's not about achieving some fixed state of enlightenment, but about continually opening ourselves to new possibilities, to greater depths of love, compassion, understanding.
And he provides us with a roadmap, a set of practical tools and strategies to guide us on this journey.
He assures us that we're not alone on this path. We all have a capacity to awaken to our true nature and to experience the boundless freedom and joy that comes from living as an untethered soul.
This deep dive has been incredibly enriching, and I really encourage our listeners to explore the untethered soul for themselves and embark on their own journey of inner transformation. Thank you for joining us.
It's been a pleasure diving ape with you.